Hey everyone, John here from Bite Size Cruises. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are on the beautiful NCL Prima. It's going to be a little bit hazy here for some of the video because we left out in New York. It was a little rainy, and then we went to Halifax and it was a little rainy there. But beautiful ship, so we're going to take you through this. Generally we start on deck 15 or 16, wherever the pool deck is. Today we are starting on deck 8 because this is such a different cruise ship. So on some of the older cruise ships from Norwegian, not even old, but some of the older ships, on the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus class, Norwegian introduced the waterfront, which was a boardwalk around deck 8. Well, on the Prima and the Prima class ships that are going to be coming out, they've really kind of taken this to the next level and expanded it. So what you're going to see here is the very expansive Ocean Boulevard, which is brand new on these Prima class ships. As you can see here, we are on deck 8 outside. So the inside is very small on deck 8, which we'll see in a little bit. But what you'll see here is that we have this expansive area outside on the ship with these little wind blockers here. But you're going to have a lot of area to sit, a lot of area to walk. The whole goal with these Prima class ships is to get you closer to the sea. They want people to have more outdoor space, to have bigger cabins, bigger balconies, to get you really closer to the water instead of being on the inside and not being able to see the water and kind of escaping from it. Norwegian really wants you to be outside. This is the very front of the ship here on deck 8. It's a great little spot. If you want to do sail away here, you can hang out here, and especially from New York, you're going to go past the Statue of Liberty and then under the Verrazano Bridge. This would be a cool spot to go under the bridge. So again, we're going to walk around the deck here on deck 8. This is much, much larger, and it actually goes all the way around the ship, which is really cool. On the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus class ships, the waterfront does stop where Food Republic and things are on the front edge of the ship. So you can't go all the way around. So on this ship, you can go all the way around. It is really, really beautiful. It looks like a high-end resort, the whole ship. Some people seem to really resonate and like that. Some people that we talk to on the ship, not so much, because it doesn't really look like a traditional cruise ship, which is just different. So there's different things for different people. So one of the things we'll talk about, a recurring theme as we go through this, is I'm not 100% sure who this ship was designed for. It is beautiful. There are amazing things on it. I was just left a little confused as to exactly who the audience is for this ship, but it's beautiful. So you can see here tons of outdoor seating, tons of like group seating, which I really like. If you're on a cruise with a group of friends or anything, you're going to have a ton of space to hang out with them. They do have the little binoculars here, and you can see this beautiful like wood facade. That's obviously not wood, but looks like wood, and it's really, really pretty. And then real highlights here as you come up to the sides of the ship here. On some of the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus class ships, they had a little spaces where you could look down and see the water. Here they are massive. This entire chunk here, you can look down, as you see, and look exactly over the ocean, which is really, really incredible. Probably nerve-wracking if you are afraid of heights. I'm a little bit afraid of heights, but this did not bother me at all for some reason. Not sure why. But then as you come up here, as the traditional waterfront is, there is outdoor seating for all of the restaurants, and it is really pretty. And they have heaters underneath, which is amazing. And you can see here really how wide this area is. It is just huge. So there's tons of outdoor seating, tons of space for you to walk by where you're not kind of on the waterfront. If you were walking by people eating, you kind of felt weird because you were right on top of them. That's not the case anymore. So you're really lucky here to be able to do that and not kind of get in anybody's way. So you can see here, we're going to go from Onda by Scarpetta into Los Lobos. So as we go past the different restaurants, they are different colors, and you can see how cool this outdoor seating is. There's little booths. Again, there's heaters here. This is Los Lobos, which is the Mexican restaurant on the ship, and just a ton of outdoor space. We're going to come up here to Infinity Beach, and this is really where this outdoor area is going to shine. There's a dry slide here that you can see that comes all the way down. A lot of people have feelings about that. We'll talk about that later, just because it goes through the balconies of people's rooms. They're not thrilled about that. You come out here down at the bottom, and then at this Infinity Beach here, you're going to see, look how big this space is. You have tons of loungers out here. You have day beds out here. You're going to have this little area up here where there is water to dip your toes in the water there, right on the outside of the kind of side of the ship here. And just, again, tons of seating, tons of places to hang out with your friends and family. That is the local there, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then here you'll see the first of two on this deck infinity pools, which are right off the side of the ship. Now, these do get spectacularly busy. Obviously, this is an awesome spot. However, on our sailing, since we were going to Canada, this was not a crowded area, and the pools were not open a ton, but it is really, really pretty, as you could see, and just kind of one of the big highlights, I think, of this Prima class ship. And it really shines here where they are trying to get you closer to the sea. Again, another one of the few day beds here where you could dip your toes in. And you can see here, this is just spectacularly wide, which, of course, is going to leave the inside rather small, which to me didn't bother me at all, and it was fine. I love that there's a ton of outdoor space here. I think it makes it really unique and different to this ship. This is the outdoor seating for the Indulge food hall. We're going to talk about that a lot when we go inside. This area is amazing. It's kind of a whimsical setup out here, reminding me a little bit of Virgin Cruise Lines. But you have this great outdoor seating. You have these little swings here. All this covered seating with heaters underneath where you can sit and eat. And again, the one thing I really like about all of these spaces is there's a lot of room for groups. So if you're traveling with a bunch of people, there is a good amount of space for groups, for a bunch of people to hang out, like large tables in all of the dining rooms and things like that. It's really cool. It's great. Outdoor design on the ship is really, really phenomenal. And you can see here we're at the back of the ship, and you can see all these great spaces with day beds and places to hang out outside. This does kind of replace a lot of, I guess, what they thought was a need for a pool deck. So when we get up to the pool deck, you'll see what I'm talking about there. But here's the very back of the ship where there's the Soleil bar, and then right off the back of the ship here, all these great places to just sit and hang out, read a book or grab a drink. It's really, really, really beautiful there. And then as we wind around here, it's pretty much going to be a mirror image of the other side. So we're going to kind of take you through this and just show you kind of the outlook and the beauty of the ship. I don't want to, usually I would speed it up here, but I don't want to speed it up a ton because I want you to see all these great spots where you can kind of hang out. So my theory on this ship is, as it gets into the Caribbean sailings and longer voyages of like 7 days and things like that, these outdoor spaces are really going to shine and people are going to love it. There were a lot of complaints about the size of the pool, which we'll look at when we get up there. But with these other pool areas, maybe that'll mitigate that and people will realize that, or maybe they just didn't realize there were other pool options, which I can't believe they couldn't, but who knows? I'm not a huge pool person, so it's not the biggest of deals to me. So again, we get on the other side of the ship here, and you're going to see really the same thing. So you're going to see these little areas where you can dip your toes in. We're going to come up to another infinity pool here, and then off in the distance there, you see that there are 2 dry slides on this side. These are the drop slides that come down from deck 18, where you basically fall through the floor and go down. Same thing, they go through people's balconies, and people are not thrilled about that, which I can totally understand. I would not want to be in one of those balconies. I am sure you can probably get them for a reduced rate, but it's not something that I would be interested in. So I can see if people were upset about that. And some go through the Haven rooms, which are the ship within a ship suites on Norwegian, which those people pay a ton of money, and I can truly understand why you wouldn't want to hear that dropping noise and then people screaming going down a slide all day from your room. And then you come out here on the edge and you can see how big those slides are, and you can see right where they go through the balconies right outside people's doors. So it is an obstructed kind of balcony view from those corner balconies too. That's a very strange design. When I looked at the original models of the ship, I didn't see that it was actually going through people's balconies. It's weird, for sure. So then you come up here on the other side and you're going to see there is an art installation here. I'm not sure if this is going to change over time, but there are just a bunch of statues. You can see people getting pictures with them there. But there are a lot of statues here, and it's kind of like a Zen garden. People were asking about having more seating here so that they could hang out and kind of spend time looking at these art installations. But nobody really kind of addressed that when I was in the Q&A. So we'll see what happens with that. But they are really cool statues. There's a lot of them. It's all by the same artists. So again, I don't know if they're going to kind of replace these every couple years or every couple months. I doubt every couple months. I would assume they'll be there for at least a few years, just like Broadway shows and everything else. But really nice to look at something very different on a cruise ship that you normally don't see. And they all have little placards there that tell you about what they are. And then again, unique on this ship as compared to the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus class ones, you can go all the way around the ship, which is very cool. Now we come inside on deck 8. This is going to overlook the Penrose Atrium. It's no longer 678 Place. There is a Pandora store on the ship where they have all your favorite charms. And they also have some Norwegian swag in there. One thing I will say about Norwegian, they do not do swag as well as Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean has its own store, and they sell tons of merch. I really wanted to get some Prima stuff, and there were only like 3 options of things to buy. So I think it's a lost opportunity there. But some good shopping here. The atrium here looks very, very modern. Again, I think everything looks like a more or less like a high-end hotel or resort and less like a cruise ship. And that's not a good or bad thing. That's just my looking at it or what I thought about it. It just looked more futuristic and modern. Not that that's good or bad. And then as you come down here on deck 8 is where there are more shops. The shops I noticed are very small. They're kind of just like little kiosks out here as you walk through the different areas. Like you can see they have sunglasses and watches and different things along the way here. I guess it all adds up to about the same amount of shopping before because there is a lot more of it. It's just spread out a lot more over the ship. And as you can see here on deck 8, there's really only one long hallway, which does spread out towards the back, but that is because there is so much outdoor space on deck 8, which is amazing. Here you can see they have a little tech area where you can get headphones and watches and all the cords for your devices if you need them. Again, the photo gallery. And they have these little photo areas here where they can do consultations with people before they do their pictures, which is pretty cool as well. You can see those. They're very nice. Again, I think newly on these new cruise ships, especially this one, there's not a lot of color. It's very muted colors. And again, some people loved it when I was talking to them. Some people hated it. But it's just new. It's a little more modern looking, and it felt more spa-ish to me. Come down here, they had that little augmented reality thing that some people were playing with. It's in a weird spot because if you are doing it, people will walk in front of you the whole time, which is strange, but it's there. As we come up here, this is the local. This used to be obviously on the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus class ships. This was Ocean's on some of them. And Ocean's used to overlook the main atrium there. It no longer does. It is towards the back now. So you have the local here. It is very upscale. So they have these little swings in there. It's very nice. The ship is beautiful. So as you look through, again, very modern. It does have a little bit of a Virgin Voyages feel to it here. This is the sports bar, but it's a very upscale looking sports bar. On this side of the local, it's just open seating. You can sit down. The wait staff will come over to you and get you food or whatever you need or drinks. And then you have the bar there. And then you have a massive large screen TV here where they were showing all the NFL games on Sunday and then soccer on the rest of the days. So that's a massive TV. And there was a ton of people here on Sunday for the football games, which is really cool. So it was kind of like a traditional sports bar. Again, there is outdoor seating, which we looked at from the other side. Again, great spot for like a group of friends if you wanted to hang out. And a lot of seating, a lot more seating than I thought there would be. And then the actual local where you can sit down and eat was a much smaller area, but I think plenty for what it kind of serves, which is basically, your bar and pub food, which is open almost 24 hours a day. It used to be 24 hours. I think it's open until 3 in the morning now, and then it reopens at 5:30, so a couple hours where it closes. This is Indulge Food Hall. This is one of the highlights, I think, of this ship, where the new modern design really shines. When we head up to the buffet, the one thing you will see is the buffet is tiny. Really, really, really small, which I have no problem with. And what they did was they replaced the complimentary option instead of going to the buffet with this Indulge Food Hall. In here, there are 11 food options. They're like food trucks or little kiosks. You could sit at each of the kiosks. If you sit at a kiosk, you can only order food from that particular restaurant. If you sit anywhere else in these open areas, you can order on an iPad from any of the restaurants, and they will deliver the food to you. You can get drinks. You can do whatever you want. But it's a cool, very cool option, very different than the traditional buffet. I loved it. I ate in here multiple days for multiple meals. And again, it's complimentary. There is a tapas place. There's a Indian place, a noodle place, a salad bar, a dessert place. There's a kind of 2 dessert places. One's ice cream. One is like other grab and go options. There is a rotisserie. There is a Q barbecue and smokehouse. So you do have a ton of options. There's a little tapas one. There's a bar back here. If you just want to come and hang out at the bar, you can eat there as well. This was really packed on the first day. I think everybody was eager to try it out and see what it was all about. But really, really cool spot. I liked it a lot. These are 2 actual food trucks that they brought in and reassembled, which is cool. This is a big space, and there's a ton of outdoor seating, and it was packed. The rest of the cruise, however, at lunchtime or dinner time, there was a good crowd here, but it was never overwhelming, or I came down and couldn't find a seat. I was by myself, so it is a little easier. There is a Starbucks here. There are 2 Starbucks on the ship. This one here, and then there's a full Starbucks down on deck 7, which we will see shortly. So again, here in the Indulge Food Hall, this definitely was one of my favorite places on the ship. It was a little bit, I don't want to say controversial, but there are some people who did not enjoy the fact that the buffet is tiny, and they, obviously technology is challenging sometimes, and people didn't like the kiosk aspect of it and thought things took a while, or it was confusing, or wasn't real clear that you couldn't order from anywhere if you sat at the restaurant itself. So people were a little bit upset about that. But I think once they get all the kinks out of this, really, really, really a cool space, in my opinion. So as we come out of here, heading back into the local, again, the local, very different from Ocean's. Same exact food, just way more upscale looking, and really, really nice. And it obviously doesn't overlook the atrium like it does on those Breakaway and Breakaway Plus ships. But just a really cool space. Again, you see the giant screen TV, people carrying their Starbucks, because there's Starbucks everywhere on the ship. Then you come over here and you're going to see the actual seating area of the local, where you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and obviously late night snacks and anything else. This is a small area, but the local's huge, so you still have that whole area over there. You have outside on both sides of the local where you can eat and hang out. So you don't need a ton of space, and I was here for breakfast one morning, and it was pretty empty. Remember, there are 2 huge main dining rooms. Hudson's is really big, and then the Commodore Room, and then a lot of people go to the buffet. So lots of breakfast options here on the Prima. And again, you see these beautiful areas where you can kind of sit and just hang out and watch sports, or just hang out with your friends. Again, I like the fact that there's a lot of congregation areas for groups, which is really nice. makes it easier to come with a bunch of people and actually enjoy the time that you're spending. And then as you come out here on deck 8, as you can see, the lobby areas where the elevators are, all the colors are muted on the ship. It's very like white, beige, brown, gray, a little bit of blue. There's the front of the local if you were going in. And then we're going to spin around here and take a look at the Mexican restaurant, which is Los Lobos, which is really cool. The little statues there are really cool. And then, again, the restaurants are really pretty. All of the restaurants are small, or at least small-ish. But, I mean, a restaurant that seats 100 people may look small, but on a ship of 3,000, it's not, considering they could probably turn it over 3 times a night. So it's 300 people that could eat in this Mexican restaurant, and there's like 20 restaurants. The booths, again, kind of mimic the booths outside that are really cool. I'll just let you take a look here at this restaurant. Really, really cool. And then here we are back out in the Penrose Atrium, which is what this new area is now called on 6, 7, and 8, where it used to be 6, 7, and 8 place. As we turn here, we're going to walk into the new Italian offering, which is owned up by Scarpetta. I've heard this is really good. We were not allowed to eat at all the different specialty restaurants on this particular sailing, so that everyone could get a chance to eat at specialty dining, which is really nice. The restaurant looks beautiful. I am not a fan of La Cucina. I think, as most people know at this point, I think La Cucina is very basic Italian, and I kind of have always felt that it should be included in your cruise fare. But this place looks beautiful, and I heard the food was excellent. So I would love to try it. Just didn't get a chance to on this one. Again, the atriums are really pretty. The ship looks very futuristic and very resort-ish, as you can see here, overlooking 6, 7, and 8. Very similar feel to the normal 6, 7, and 8, just not in the same location. There's no big chandelier, and it's a little less, I think some people said it's a little less gaudy, which they liked, but I kind of like something about that, like gaudy ship feel sometimes. And then here's just some basic shopping, and there's shopping everywhere. Again, we looked at this before a little bit. They have bags, they have glasses, watches, all the normal things. There is an Effie. If you didn't get enough of Effie jewelry, everywhere at every port you go to, you can get your little fix of Effie jewelry. And then we head here into the art gallery, which I like is not big and it's not overwhelming like the art gallery usually is, which I think is silly. And then we're here on 7 at Sid Norman's Poorhouse. This venue is really cool. They do shows here, and you can see on this one they were doing Rumors. So, but this venue is so small. It only holds, I mean, if it held 100, 150 people, it would be super packed. So you really do have to get there really, really early for the shows. I got there an hour early one night, and I did not get in to the show. So just a heads up on that. But the shows are amazing. Let everybody look around. I'm going to try to talk less on some of these tours. Just let you get the lay of the land a little bit. Then we come out here and you see the Improv, which is the stand-up comedy place. There is no dueling pianos or Howl at the Moon on this, so this place is extremely tiny as well. This is even smaller than Poorhouse, in my opinion. There's a tiny little bar here where normally in the kind of area there's a bigger bar, and then the area to sit. Obviously, you have that side part where a bunch of people could sit, but you can't really like face forward and sit there. And as you come around, you're going to see just how small it is. It looks like a little tiny classroom. And that's it. It's a great, like, so my thing with stand-up comedy is really good in a small, intimate setting, but that's really tiny and really narrow. So, yeah, interesting. Here we're going to take a look at Le Bistro on deck 7, and Le Bistro is beautiful. Everybody knows I think this is my favorite restaurant on any cruise ship. Just really spectacularly pretty on this ship. I do like the booths. It gives a little more privacy if you're there with a date or your significant other, and you just want to kind of have a little more of a private setting, because usually it's just wide open. I do like that. I love this restaurant. It's very, very, very pretty. And then there's your Effie jewelry, as we mentioned previously. So you can get your fix there of any of your tanzanite or any other things that you would normally go off on an island for. They have them on the ship there. And then there is guest services and the shore excursion desk and all of that. That's the onboard credit desk as well, if you're having any issues. And then they have a little shops over here where they have the high-end watches. And then again, back to the Penrose Atrium, where you can kind of see the 6, 7, and 8 layers and the beige and brown decorations, which is kind of super popular right now. I don't know how it's going to age, but it looks really nice. It's very clean, but not everybody loves it. So the Starbucks, this is the full Starbucks here. Again, lots of cool seating areas. I like all the little booths and everything. Starbucks is big. It was free on this cruise, which is really amazing to have free coffee. So that was nice. And there was a very long line, as you can imagine, most of the time. There's your shore excursion desk. Much smaller than usual, but I don't think that's an issue. Then we're going to wind around here. And again, the kind of the inside of the ship is a little bit strange, because you have to go up and down hallways where usually things are a little more open. So it is a little more closed off. So this is the Metropolitan here and the Humidor Cigar Lounge. So we're going to take a look at the Cigar Lounge first here. Remember, in the Cigar Lounge, you can only smoke cigars. You cannot smoke cigarettes. Seems weird, but I get it, I think. This is a really nice area. There's some TVs in there if you want to watch movies or sports. Cool spot. Again, it's brand new, so it didn't really even smell like cigars, which is great. You come back out here to the Metropolitan, which is a nice bar. This area was really crowded. They had live performances here every night. This is the area where they make and come up with these sustainable cocktails. So they have, basically they're using all the waste from garnishes and different things like that and repurposing them for the drinks. Over here is your elevator. That is your private elevator to the Haven. Again, weird spot for it, but yeah, the design of the ship is a little bit strange. I do like it. It was beautiful. It's just weird. Coming up here, we are going to come up on Nama, which is the sushi restaurant. They've separated sushi and hibachi on this ship, which isn't abnormal, but the sushi restaurant is bigger. So as you come in here, you can see Nama is very, very large. It's a nice space for a sushi restaurant. Again, just kind of opening up the idea of having more specialty restaurants, which is kind of the keystone of, I think, Norwegian freestyle at this point. Then we're going to head over to Hasuki, which is replacing teppanyaki. This is now the hibachi portion. It is fairly large, I guess. I think there's 8 hibachi grills in here. So nice area, really nice, very pretty. Again, some of the spaces are very well designed, but again, it's a lot of like blues, whites, grays, beige. They're getting away from gaudy. And then we're going to come up here to Hudson's, which was one of my favorite spots on the ship. This is a main dining room on the ship. So Hudson's one of the two main dining rooms, and this is obviously, as you see, a really beautiful dining room. And this is the more kind of ornate and I guess pretty of the main dining rooms. Commodore Room is the other one. It is a little more like Taste and Savor. I think I said that before. So Taste and Savor are the main dining rooms on the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus class ships. This Hudson's is really, really beautiful. So I think you'll like this a lot. It's a great place to have breakfast, lunch, or dinner. The food was great for all the meals that I had there. It was a little slow for dinner, but it's a brand new ship. So, I'm not going to judge anything on that. And then we're back here in the Penrose Atrium, obviously on the 6th deck now, so you can look up and see the rest of the area there in the atrium. And the front part there is where they have little bands and stuff. They don't do bingo or anything, or obviously any games or anything in the atrium anymore. It's basically just a kind of focal point or gathering point of the ship. Again, I don't know how I feel about it. It's different, and different's not always bad, but people don't like change. So I love change, but this is very different, and I don't know how I feel about it yet, but we'll see, as I would like to go on again and go on Viva when that comes out and kind of see how this new style kind of suits cruising. I'd like to do the Caribbean as well on a longer voyage. I did a 4-day to Canada, so I didn't really get, and they weren't doing all the games and everything, so you didn't really get a full kind of breadth of everything. So I'd like to check it out when it's really going. So as we wander down here on 6, head into the casino. The casino is large. It's a large space, especially since there's less people on this than there would be on like a Breakaway Plus class ship. The casino to me felt just as large. There's a ton of space. There was not really anybody in the casino during this trip, which is fascinating to me to see the different places that you go or the different groups of people, who gambles, who doesn't. But it was very, very quiet anytime I was in there. And I was in there. Throwing my money away to Norwegian. Not a lot of winning going on the cruise. But again, it's empty, so I didn't expect to win. Right? Gambling is just about entertainment. Make sure you gamble within your means. You can dial that 1-800-GAMBLER if you need any help. But to me, I treat it like entertainment. I have a budget for what I'm going to spend on the cruise, and then however I spend that money, I spend it. And to me, it's just having fun and hanging out with friends and playing the games. If you win, it's extra gravy on top. So you can see here the casino is really, really large, lots of table games. There is a smoking area on the other side, which is a tiny little glass box. Again, people were not thrilled about that, but it is what it is. So as you come out of the casino here on deck 6, you can see you're going to wander into the Belvedere Bar here. Again, the hallways and like the weird spots to get to places really were strange to me, but again, get used to it, I guess. We'll see what happens. As we walk straight ahead, we're going to wander right into Cagney's. They really did spread the restaurants out a lot. I guess this is for flow on the ship, so everybody's not in the same space at the same time. But here's Cagney's, which is the steakhouse on the Norwegian cruise ships. This restaurant's actually pretty big. Looks really nice. Again, muted on all the restaurants, the entire ship. Everything's a very muted decor, which is the current kind of theme and style. So it'll be interesting again to see how that kind of ages as we move forward. And then they have this really nice bar here, and then we're going to wander down towards the Commodore Room, which is the other main dining room. Again, they split up the main dining rooms on this one, so one's on 6, one's on 7. Again, I'm guessing this is for flow and just to kind of give you more options or choices and to have not everybody be in the same place congregating at the same time. But you can see over there even big areas for groups, which I love. And then the Commodore Room's very nice, but it does remind me of Taste and Savor. It's kind of just the kind of utilitarian dining room on the ship, where Hudson's is. I thought Hudson's was really spectacular with the giant windows. This looks more like the standard main dining room on the modern cruise ship for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Come out here, you can see those fun group spaces again, right? They have these big like congregation areas, which again is interesting post-COVID to see that they are getting back to like larger group spaces and different things like that, which is interesting, where I know some of the cruise lines went more into like smaller areas where it's individuals or a few people can hang out. So now we are up on deck 12. We're going to take a jump up, and this is the studio lounge. So if you remember from the getaway video I just did a few weeks ago, if not, go check that out. I stayed in the studio cabin, and then we had the studio lounge, which is like a 2-floor space where you can congregate and meet people. This one again, and that one's very like bright and bold, almost futuristic white. This one is very, again, muted, creams, browns, grays, whites, and but a really, really beautiful space, a really nice space. A large space, not 2 floors anymore. It's only 1 floor of the lounge. There are studio cabins on 2 floors. And then you have all your snacks, your coffee machine over there, an espresso and cappuccinos. You can pretty much make anything. They do only have standard milk, though, no substitute milks, just in case anyone was curious. And then you have your soda machine over there. You have wine and beer on tap that you can swipe your card and get. Remember, those things are not included in any beverage package in the studio lounge. Anywhere you go where they have like the wine machine or anything like that, it's not included in your drink package, even if you have the premier beverage package. These were all just turned on this ship, again, because everybody had the drink package. Everybody had internet. Everybody had the soda, whole 9 yards. So that was nice for that. And you could test everything out. So this is a balcony, a very nice large balcony with separate living and sleeping space. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what some of the cabins look like. The cabins are huge. Even though this is a suite, it's really large. You have the double balcony here. It's a large balcony, front-facing suite. I don't love the front-facing suites. I don't love that like high balcony there, but it's a really nice room. You can see the bedroom's large. You have the balcony out there, as well as the balcony from your living room. You get a quick glimpse here, but I don't like that kind of curved in balcony. It's just my particular opinion. Not that that matters at all. So just a heads up for you there. This is what the rooms look like. They are really pretty. Again, light blues, green, creams, beiges, very, very muted colors. I'm going to say that 5 million. We could do a drinking game with muted colors. So this is my cabin, which was a standard balcony and was huge. I mean, like significantly larger than a standard balcony. Like you could walk all around everything and without any issue. And then you had the sitting area, you have the desk area, you have the balcony. Balcony is the same size as a standard balcony has always been. I noticed that really isn't larger, but you can see how big this room is. It's very big for a standard balcony. You can see how long it is too. Which also leads to why I think some of the cabin and floor spaces are much thinner. These cabins are really, really big. Tons of space for clothes, tons of space to you put your luggage under the bed. The beds are a little bit higher, I noticed. You can see lots of hanger space here. You have a safe. You can fit your iPad in the safe, not a laptop. But they have these little drawers on the bottom there that you could put folded clothes in. More hanger space here, more hanger space in the other side of the cabinet there. And then places for your shoes and everything else. Look at all this space. It's amazing. My fall clothing line. So you get to see that. And then the bathrooms are huge. So really nice, more modern bathroom. Very large shower, which again is really nice considering on cruise ships it used to be this tiny little space that you had to like crawl into basically. Now we're going to jump up to deck 17. This is the observation lounge on Bliss and some of the other Breakaway Plus class ships. This is my favorite space on the ship. But on those ships, it's 2 floors. and it's expansive, and they have entertainment up there at night and different things. On this, it's more of just a relaxing spot. Truly is kind of just an observation lounge. You can hang out here and read. You'll see people working up here during the day. Really, really cool area. Also, one of my favorite places to come and have a drink at night. It's very quiet. So I like quiet. They do have some like food and snacks out here in the morning, but not in the evening. I didn't see. They do have coffee and water and everything out in the evening. Again, cool place if you have a group of maybe like 6 or 8 people. You can come up and find a place to hang out, although this is not probably the best area to sit and be loud or anything like that. So, but a good meeting spot, a good place to coordinate things, and just tons of seating. You could fit 1,000 people up here easily, which there were a lot of people up here for Sail Away, which makes sense. And then if you curve around here, you're going to see the bar back here, and this place was super quiet at night. I came up at like 8 or 9 o'clock a few nights, and it was empty. It was just me and a few other people. So great spot if you wanted a quiet spot to grab a drink, and then it just winds around the other side. Another thing you will take notice to is there is no real kind of card room or library on this ship. Again, new ship, new design, new concepts. But they do have a few cabinets up here that you're going to see on your right-hand side, and these cabinets do have board games in them, but I did not see like your daily crossword puzzle or anything. Again, I was on an inaugural, so it's 100% possible that stuff just hasn't come yet. So once we get back on the ship during normal sailing, then we can check out those things. You come back out here to 17 again. Lots of nooks and crannies on the ship. It's not a very like wide open spaces kind of ship. So you kind of navigate up and down different stairs to get to different places. This is the Galaxy Pavilion. This is the only arcade on the ship. There is no standard arcade for kids. There's no teen lounge. I really am struggling to figure out the ideal client for this ship, especially as a marketing person. I'm trying to figure out who they were shooting for here. And when you come in here, this is all virtual reality, which again is super cool. But if you were going to do this, I think it's $199 for a pass for the week to come in here. That's a lot of money if you have a couple kids. It could add another basically cruise fare on there. And these individual rides and different things are not cheap. So I know it's a good thing for revenue for Norwegian, but I don't know how much this would get used. And we'll find out, right? We'll see if people resonate with it or not. But cool space. There were a decent amount of people trying out all of these things. And there were some really cool experiences in here. So definitely worth an additional cost and worth some fees. I just don't know how practical it is. Again, staying on 17 here. This is the Vibe Beach Club. Sorry, it's cloudy and dreary out. This is when we are in Halifax, Nova Scotia. But Vibe Beach Club, very big, really nice, adults only area on the ship that is an additional cost. So this is a little area where you could just have privacy. Probably a good idea on this ship because there's not a lot of pool space. There are hot tubs in here. There is not a pool in here, which I think probably could have helped if there was a pool in here. But alas, there is not. There's a cool bar in here. There's great seating in here, padded lounge chairs. There's a lot, too. So I think this is a few $100s for a week, which it's a decent amount of money. However, you do get all these upgraded amenities. The seating is amazing, and you don't have to worry about kids if that's not your thing. And then as we walk to the front here, as we see at this door here, that is the Haven Courtyard. There is no like indoor Haven Courtyard anymore. It is all outside, which again was interesting. Some people liked that a lot. Some people didn't. A lot of changes on the ships, a lot of new features. I'm really eager to hear all the feedback. I heard a lot of people loving it, a lot of people hating it. So I think it's going to be a little bit polarizing. But overall, I thought the ship was really, really pretty. I don't know if I would want to be on it for more than 7 days. I just prefer, I don't know. I'm really starting to prefer a specific style and type of ship. But again, that's just my opinion. This is why cruising's so great for everybody. There are different ships for different people, and you really have to find what you like. And I encourage people to try lots of different things. I love going on all the new ships. and different types of ships, different cruise lines, and really kind of pulling the best of what I like from different ships. I love Norwegian. I love the food. I love the concept of freestyle cruising. So not surprising here that I loved all the food and everything on this ship, but the design was a little weird. This is the back of the buffet. So this is a tiny little area that's open pretty much all day and kind of into the evening where they have burgers and stuff. Again, a little strange to me that it's right outside of the Vibe Beach Club and not kind of right outside of where you would come in from the pool deck. But I don't know. I'm confused a little bit, but whatever. So as you cut out here to the right side of deck 17, there are two restaurants here. On the right, we're going to have Food Republic, which we're going to head into first. On the left, we're going to have Palomar. Food Republic is one of my favorite concepts. Very similar to the Indulge food hall, except this has an additional upcharge, which is a la carte. Or if you have the dining package, I think you get a stipend amount for it. This space is huge on here, as you're going to see. Food Republic, sit down, you have the little kiosks, iPad things, and you order your food and they bring it out. It's fusion, so they have food from lots of different backgrounds, Chinese, noodle dishes, Japanese, even some American options, whatever that means. And as you can see here, just tons of seating. This is a huge restaurant, and not a restaurant that I see packed a lot, which is interesting. But it is large, and I do really, really love Food Republic. Although if you do go and you do a la carte, it can get really pricey. We went on Escape, and I think there were 6 of us, and we wound up spending a few $100s because we just ordered everything. We like all wanted something different, and we didn't eat a lot of the food, so it's a little bit of a waste. But you just need to be careful and pay attention to what you're ordering. So then we're going to wind over to Palomar. Palomar was my absolute favorite specialty dining restaurant. There is an upcharge for this, but it is a new Mediterranean concept for Norwegian, and the food was spectacular. I had octopus here. I sat here for Sail Away on the first night, so we passed the Statue of Liberty from here, which was beautiful. And then I had octopus. I had Dover sole, and they do have fresh baked fish of the day that they bring out, either salted or just standardly baked, and then they break it down for you at the table, which everybody was raving about, and it looked awesome. The desserts are also kind of Mediterranean Greek desserts, which is really cool. I had a like phyllo dough with like some type of a yogurt cream in there. It was really, really good. Food was excellent. And it looks like they're going to have some type of a buffet offering in here at some point, because there are these little stations set up, but I do not know what that's for. There was nothing like that when we were there. So just a heads up. As we wander out here, you're going to wander to the kind of pool deck area, and this is the outdoor seating for Palomar. It is heated under here. They do have heat lamps, and it is kind of covered and somewhat indoor. And there was a lot of people eating in this area while I was on the ship. It is really nice. And again, I can't recommend this restaurant anymore. It was really, really good. Here comes one of the things that everyone complained about, which is the size of the pool deck. It is tiny. We're going to turn real quick, and you're going to see the entire pool deck. So you got some deck chairs here. You have your pool in the middle there, and deck chairs there. And then you have a bar. That's it, kids. That's the entire pool deck on this Norwegian Prima. People were heated about it. But you do have those other spaces on deck 8 where you have the infinity pools on both sides of the ship. You do have the little places where you could dip your toes in. You do have a slide that comes down over there, so it's a little more water. And then other than that, that is it. This is the entire pool for the whole ship. There's a splash area on the next deck up for kids, which we'll see in a few minutes, but that's it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all that the pool deck's small. There's a beautiful TV over there. It was fine for me. I'm not a like sit at the pool all day kind of guy, so it doesn't affect my life. I know a lot of people love to sit at the pool all day and do all the games and all the fun things they do at the pool. So those people were not thrilled. This is the outdoor seating area of the buffet. As you know, if you've ever been on Norwegian, this area is usually huge and sprawls down the side of the pool deck. Not here. It's just a few tables. Really interesting. This is the other thing that was kind of super polarizing. I don't care at all that this buffet is tiny, which you will see in a minute, but people did not appreciate how small this buffet was. It's tiny. As you can see when you come in here, you have your drinks and desserts here. And then there are just a few stations for food. Very, very interesting. I didn't notice how tall that woman was in front of me before. She is very tall. That's awesome. So there is food here, all different kinds of, obviously, your standard buffet items, omelets at breakfast, all those other things. And then really come wrap around here. And usually there's like kind of 4 of these areas in a normal buffet, right? So you have one of these whole sections, and you'll have another one, and then you'll kind of swing around the back and you'll have 2 more. This is it. That's the end of the buffet. You have your desserts here. You have your coffee station and everything there, and that's it. And then we're back to the front of the ship, right, where that little kind of alcove was by Vibe Beach Club, where there's the kind of burgers and hot dogs. Again, I don't know why that's in that area. It's very strange to me because it's kind of just coming in from Vibe, unless this is really kind of set up for Haven people and the Vibe Beach Club people, which is possible. But that's normally what you would see on the pool deck, where they would have burgers and stuff. So that's the Surfside Grill again. And then we're going to come back out right where we came back out for Vibe Beach Club again. Really strange. There are some things I don't understand about the design, but I'm sure they're there for a reason. I just have to figure out what those things are. So we're going to head up to deck 18 here as we're winding down our cruise. This is a long one considering this is not a huge ship. So I hope everybody appreciates this. If not, leave a nasty comment. That's what people do. So, again, I think the lobbies here, the elevator lobbies are pretty. There is a lovely British voice in the elevators, except in the Haven, which is very strange. It's a standard American voice. So this is where you would go if you wanted to do the raceway, the speedway. They also have mini golf up here, which is very different. So there's the entrance to the speedway there if you're going to do the go-karts. And then we're going to check out this whole deck, which I think is really interesting, the design and everything. So these are your like kind of, this is called the stadium area, and these are kind of all your games. They have pickleball here. They have your standard like shuffleboard and all those things. I'm going to show you these things, which I think are strange. So this is under the racetrack. So it's a little loud too here sometimes during the day. You have these little sit-down tables where you can play soccer with just your feet, which is obviously how you play soccer, but sitting at a table. You have beer pong here, which is the strangest thing ever because this, we're not on Carnival here, kids. I'm kidding. But it's not the type of crowd that they're trying to attract. I have no idea. You have the pickleball court, which is really kind of gaining popularity, I guess, in the U.S. here. You have a really fun, weird ping pong table there inside that yellow tube, which is cool. You have shuffleboard, which is outside, which I have no idea about this because if it gets humid, I just don't know. Shuffleboard doesn't work if the table's wet. It's kind of the whole slide principle. I don't understand. Here are the 2 drop slides that take you down to the Ocean Boulevard on deck 8. Those are a lot of fun. They're not as fast as you think they are. They're kind of slow, actually. Considering like the Ultimate Abyss on the Oasis class ships or Royal, I thought was really fast. These are not. So they're fun, really fun. And then you wind around here and you're going to see the kind of, I think is like a little bit of a hidden gem here, which is the Speedway Bar. And this is a cool spot at the back of the ship where not a lot of people go because obviously it's hidden in the back here. There are a lot of things that are like hidden that I think people don't even know exist. So I'm glad we're getting to show people these things. This is a great spot. If, again, you have a little bit of a crowd, you have a group, and you just want a quiet spot where everybody can grab a drink where you're not fighting the crowds. That was me wiping the camera because it was drizzling a little. So then here you have the other slide. That's actually the one that drops. The floor drops out from under you. I apologize. Again, fun. Not the fastest slide in the world, but really cool. Get a good look. Sorry about the blinking there. And we're coming into the mini golf area. They really did kind of revolutionize miniature golf here. So one of the things I don't like on Royal Caribbean on the Oasis class ship is the mini golf. They have like the plastic balls now that don't even roll, and it's just not a fun experience to me. I just see kids out there smashing balls around. This one's really cool. There is some kind of interactive element at every hole. You can answer trivia questions. At the end, you actually get to, if you want to try doubling up, you can go for a hole-in-one. You can win a prize. Could be a free cruise. Could be a t-shirt. Could be something else. But there are different interactive elements at almost every hole, which I really liked. It is very cool. Just different. I like that they kind of took a shot at something a little different. There's the trivia, music trivia one. Here's one where you can spin the wheel and win something. And then over on the side here, I really like this idea too. They have darts. You can rent out these darts areas for 40 minutes. So it's great if you have a few people and you want to play darts and just hang out. You can see it looks really cool. It's a cool experience. Grab a couple drinks. I don't like that it's outside. Again, it's weird. I don't know. It's interesting. But those dartboards are not going to last outside. It's strange. Then you wind here, and one of the other cool things as you are checking out the decks here is that you can go up to decks 19 and 20 and check out the speedway. Then we're going to head upstairs to the little area where you can view the rest of the racetrack as you head up here to decks 19 and 20. Really cool again. Sorry it's raining, which really kind of ruins it a little bit, but can't predict the weather. So you have your little standings there. They'll tell you all the fastest times on your cruise. I mentioned in one of the other videos that we were doing for this, they do have a overall leader for the cruise, and they kind of make it very fair by making sure that everybody who comes on, they either take the weight down to 200 or up to 200 based on your size. And that way everybody's a fair weight for the speed, which is really cool. This is just a little fun area where you can come up and get your picture taken, and you can watch everybody going around on the go-karts, which is a lot of fun. They go fast. They don't look like they're going fast when you are up here watching. They're going about 30 miles an hour, but it's really fast when you're in those cars and you're just a few inches off the ground. But it's cool. It's 3 decks. Again, I'm confused as to why this is on this ship or this style of ship, considering it's going for like a more of a resort air kind of look and feel, kind of more like a celebrity cruise line kind of feel. And there's no teen lounge and everything. So it seemed like they were kind of pushing away from kids. And then you have this massive 3-deck race track, which I just don't understand. It's really cool. It's a ton of fun. And I guess adults can do it, and it's great, and it's like a fun attraction. But it does push me more towards the fact that they're leaning back towards Royal Caribbean, where I thought they were leaning more towards celebrity. I just don't know. So I'm confused a little bit, but that's on me. I loved the ship. I loved the go-karts. They were fun to do them, and I am certainly not a child. So it was cool. Now we're going to head up to deck 18 on the pool deck just to kind of give you an idea of the rest of the area there. This is going to be the cool wave slide, which was really cool. Again, water slides are fine. I just don't know what's going on here and who they're trying to attract. I think it would have been really cool to have like an area up on deck 18 here that was more of like a resort, kind of like Vibe Beach Club with like a really nice pool, an adults only pool, kind of like Spice H2O, but like upscale. I don't know. So this is the splash zone for kids. Again, really small area. There's the slide, which was fun, really fun. And then you see there are some chairs here. This is the splash area. I don't understand the splash area a ton. It's not very like decorative for children, but that is the splash area for kids. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure what the aesthetic is here. But again, I'm confused at who this ship is for and who to recommend it to. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time, really good time. The entertainment's awesome. The food was awesome. Everything was great. So as we walk around here, as you look to your right, I guess, when we come around here. So this is like the kids area contained. And then we'll get over here and you'll see just some really cool sitting spaces. I love this stuff, right? So this is what I would expect. I wish there was just like a really cool adult pool here, and then this area would have been amazing. But alas, it's not, because you're right on the other side of the kids there. So if you're hanging out with a group of people in like this cool area, all you're going to hear is kids screaming. So over to the right from right here, you can't really see it, was the smoking area, which is just like a little sectioned off space for smokers. And they had feelings on that. So, and I don't blame them. It's a really small area for smoker. I hate smoking, but I understand that it's a necessary evil on the ship. So that's going to do it for our tour. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, and we will see you soon.